The liberal media is the actual racists. Exactly. They're the oppressors of the black people. Exactly. They don't want to show black people. They don't want to show. We're going to black. Okay. Why won't you show black supporters? Why won't you show? No. Why won't you guys show black supporters?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, black supporters of Donald Trump in North Carolina cornering a reporter and basically saying, why aren't you covering us? Why don't you listen to us? Why don't you come over here? Why don't you talk to us? Forcing her to do just that. That's prominently featured on thegatewaypundit.com. And on the panel that we're introducing now, we happen to have Jim Hoft, founder of thegatewaypundit.com, conservative blogger and investigative reporter, and Roger Simon, co-founder of PJ Media, award-winning novelist, author of I Know Best, How Moral Narcissism is Destroying Our Republic If It Hasn't Already. Gentlemen, I like having two founders on. It's almost like the founding fathers. I'm a founder of nothing, but that's okay. Anyway, let's start with you, Jim. That video is very powerful and very telling, and something that the mainstream media wants no part of, that narrative.
Well, you won't see that on CNN. And that was a group of black Trump supporters. They're from Florida, but they've been to several of Trump's rallies. They're not getting any playtime on TV, so they confronted the media in North Carolina yesterday. It was wonderful. And
Roger, again, you know, poll after poll shows 2-3% of African Americans voting for Donald Trump, but I see more and more of these kinds of stories where, you know, blacks are speaking up and speaking out that they're tired of the Democrats and they're looking at Donald Trump and they want Donald Trump.
Well, they should be tired of Democrats, given what the Democrats have done to them for 40 years or so. You know, I think that's probably one of the better things that Trump has done in this campaign, is to try to speak to the black community, which other Republicans haven't done, quite stupidly, I must say. I don't think he did it enough or early enough. I wish he had done more, but at least he's done it. And maybe some of it's going to pay off. We'll find out Tuesday night or Wednesday morning around 4 a.m.
Well, yeah, probably so. And Roger, you wrote a piece, and then I want Jim to weigh in on this also, at pjmedia.com, that America is at the most perilous crossroads since World War II. I couldn't agree more. Explain.
Well, I think it's quite simple. I mean, you go back to Benjamin Franklin's famous quote coming out of the Constitution that was, a republic if you can keep it. Well, I think we're on the edge of not keeping it because the rule of law is under threat as never before. We have corruption in the Department of Justice. What's more central to preserving a democracy than that? Nothing. So we're going to find out. I mean, right now, my prediction is the election could be Donald Trump versus Tim Kaine, really, if we were looking at it. And we're going to find out amazing things. If Hillary Clinton wins, this country is going to be in turmoil like you've never seen.
Jim, you know, there's a lot of talk. I think it was Tom DeLay who said, I asked him about impeachment, or pardoning, rather, if Hillary wins. Would Obama pardon her? And he said Obama would want no part of that in his legacy. She was more likely to pardon herself if she gets in. What kind of constitutional crisis do you believe we are headed to if Hillary Clinton becomes the next president?
Well, I think these are great questions to ask, and I think this is weighing heavy on the Hillary campaign and the American public. I see the polls this past week, even before the FBI made that big announcement last Friday. But even before that, Trump was coming up, he was surging, and now with that news, I just don't think Hillary has a chance coming in on Tuesday. I don't think Americans are going to vote for a criminal.
Really, Jim? I hope that you are right. This is a huge test for the American public because, I'm one of these people who is protective of his own psyche. So I like to, what if she wins and blah, blah, blah. I want to think you're right. I hope you are.
Well, it's going to take a huge turnout, and that's what Donald Trump is banking on. And to that end, let me ask you about another story on your site, Jim. You know, we hear that there is no voter fraud, guys, right? We hear that there's been 31 cases out of 1 billion in the history of voting ever since they started keeping track of it. Yet here we have a story that 83 ballots with 83 different names have been sent to one address is in L.A. County in California. Jim?
Right, and this is addressed was a 80-some-year-old woman is getting this stack of ballots that came to her house, and they went to the authorities with this, some of her friends, and the authorities said, well, just poo-pooed it away like, oh, this happens all the time, it's just a glitch. So it's insane, but this is just one instance now that we've heard about with something like this happening.
I witnessed all this stuff firsthand because back in the deep dark ages when I was a liberal, I actually had a polling place in my house in L.A.
You had a polling place in your house?
Yes, and I was usually the first voter every election day. I'd come down in my bathrobe and vote. But, I watched the people all day coming in and out. And nobody had to show an ID. The mostly old ladies who were doing the polling, running the show, would just say, "Oh, hi, Sam." And there was absolutely there was no way of knowing what was going on.
Well, I don't have to show an ID.
I was a liberal, so I accepted it. Oh, that's cool.
Well, guys, let me ask you, Jim. What we have seen from Barack Obama has smacked of desperation. Number one, but number two, it is as disgusting and divisive and horrific and playing the race card and demagoguing and false accusations. Basically saying, came out and said, I played this bite yesterday in North Carolina, said, there are groups, he said, they're not even making a secret of it. They're saying that they're going to try to prevent certain groups from voting. If that were the case, he would have named it. And if that were the case, you and I know the Justice Department would be arresting them by now, rightfully so. So this kind of lying and incitement and race baiting is disgusting. But the media, all they talk about is how great a campaigner Obama has been for Hillary.
Yeah, it is disgusting. And Barack Obama even comparing Trump to saying the Klan, the Ku Klux Klan is somehow linked to Donald Trump. It's as low as it gets. But to me, it shows that they are desperate. They see the poll numbers, they see the trend lines, and Trump is surging. They're in bad shape. They're trying to stop it any way they can, but this is just disgusting.
Roger, this is my great producer Rich said to me yesterday. This is worse than Willie Horton ever was. What Obama's doing. He's the president of the United States saying these things.
Yeah, well, he's been doing that forever. I mean, that's what he comes from. It's Chicago politics, and that's the game they play. He's one of the slicker operatives of that kind of thing because he sort of does it in this cool style that people lap up. He's a scary guy. I mean, I think, I hate to say it, but he's effective in this crap. He's not. He does it well. I mean, it's unbelievably sinister, and the media, laps it up because they're mentally disturbed. I think that they've hypnotized themselves. It's crazy.
There is something wrong going on. That's absolutely true. But before I let you guys go, we got about a minute and a half. Jim, Julian Assange interviewed for Russian TV saying that the global elites, arms companies and the media will not allow Trump to win. Do you buy into that?
They definitely don't want him to win. I don't know if they'll be able to prevent it, though. But it's really shaping up to be the globalists against Donald Trump. And I think the people are going to stand with Donald Trump.
What about it, Roger? Is it preventable? Is it preventable on the part of the global elites?
I'm no Nostradamus. However, I would say this. I was mixed feelings about Julian Assange when he first came on the scene. I think I'd give him the Nobel Peace Prize now.
Well, let's see if he has any bombshells still up his sleeve between now and Tuesday. Gentlemen, thank you both. Jim Hoft, Roger Simon, always appreciate it. Folks, up next, we're going to talk to Congressman Louis Gohmert. He'll join us to talk about the FBI new findings in the Clinton email, but also we have threats, Al-Qaeda intercepts, where they're discussing possible nonspecific terror attacks against Texas, New York, and Virginia on the day before the election, which would be Monday. So we'll see if the congressman has anything to add to what we have already been told. So I advise you not to go anywhere.